Hey guys, it's Hunter. So this is my first video blog ever, not just with the Rally Ratsun. So just to give you a little background on what the story is here and what I'm all about. So a couple months ago I found out about a rally race in South Carolina. So I'm originally from South Carolina and now I live up in Tennessee. I'm stationed at Fort Campbell. But I was doing some research about rally races, and I found one in South Carolina called the Sandblast Rally, and I thought, man, like it would be really cool to do that, to be a part of, a rally race, and just following guys like Caswell in his E30 and stuff. What an awesome idea to go find a really cool old race car or a sporty car and turn it into your own race car in a rally race. So over the last month and a half, 2 months, I've been searching Craigslist, stopping at every car I see on the side of the road, just trying to find something unique and something different that I can potentially turn into my own race car. Obviously with the help of my friends. No way I can do all this by myself. So that being said, suggestions are welcomed, absolutely. But I looked and I looked and I looked at all sorts of really awesome things on Craigslist. And that's definitely one of the most freeing experiences you can ever have, is to go onto Craigslist and not look at something for its quality, but just to look at it for its motor and suspension. Because usually when you're looking at stuff on Craigslist and you see body damage or rust or something like that, you're like, okay, next. But when you're looking for a race car, who cares, right? So I played with a couple different ideas. I was really into the E30 scene at first because I have a BMW. I love BMWs, and E30s obviously owned and still continue to perform very well in the rally circuits. But I kind of had a personal dilemma about destroying an E30 or turning it into a race car. So I was like, well, we'll keep our eyes peeled. I also entertained the idea of a Baja Bug, which would have been really awesome because Baja Bugs are cool, and you can do pretty much everything in your own garage pretty quickly with a Baja Bug. And I almost bought one the same weekend I bought this, my race car, but it sold before I could get there. So what is my race car? My race car is a 1981 280ZX Datsun. So about the car, it is a 280ZX 1981, and in 1981, Datsun introduced the turbocharged 280ZX into the American market. However, unfortunately for me, this is not the turbocharged version. So this is your run-of-the-mill straight six Datsun engine that would be in its predecessors, the 1980 and 81 280s. So I will go ahead and walk you through the car front to back on the outside, and then I'll kind of dig into the underneath, what we got inside and underneath the hood and the suspension components. So I don't know when, but the guy who I bought the car from did tell me that the car was painted. So I'm not sure if this is the original paint or not, but the paint is in pretty good shape. It's got some blemishes here or there, but nothing too crazy. The vents are functional, and it's got a little scoop right there, right above the intake manifold. All the trim is there and all the badging is there. So the trim, not much of it, but the trim that was on the car is there. And then the 280 and then the Datsun 280 on the back is there. All the chrome trim around the windshield is there. It is in pretty good condition. No major dents or blemishes anywhere. The inside of the car is in surprisingly good shape. So the seats and the doors are absolutely incredible. The carpet's faded because it's 36 years old, but it's not ripped. It's not really nasty or anything. The carpet down here, you can see where the floor mat actually was, but it's not dirty. It's not stained. It's just discolored, from just sun fading. The dash has cracks from sun fading, but overall, pretty good shape. You can expect sun fading, I guess, from a 36-year-old car, especially with a car that has this much glass in it, The inside of the trunk or underneath the hatch was pretty nasty. This carpet was dry rotted pretty bad, and so I ended up just taking the whole bit of it out because you would touch it and it would just turn to dust and it wasn't worth trying to salvage. So I went ahead and took it out. So I have a blanket covering up the foam piece that is in the back of the car, but underneath this I don't want to take it out because I got this great lacrosse stick holding up my rear hatch because these shocks are garbage. But underneath all this foam back here, it's just bare metal of the car and no rust, absolutely no rust. It's really, really amazing to me how good a condition this car was in. And I mean, that's just great for me because that means that's just less work that I'll have to do fixing it up. So back here, you can see that some of the paint is starting to peel away on this back bumper section, which is plastic. So, I mean, it's just, I guess the paint didn't stick very well here. But again, not really that noticeable and really not that big a deal because race car and who cares. So this right here is coming off. It's like just this rubber trim that's going around like all the wheel wells. On the fender arches, but that'll probably come off because I'll probably end up putting oversized fender flares on it. Inside, same thing on the driver's side, just really good condition. I'm not sure if I'm going to take the carpet out or leave it in. I'll definitely probably end up taking the seats out, but we'll see. Oh, the T-tops are not in right now, but they're over here. There is one thing I'll point out on the T-tops. And that is, and I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, but on both sets of T-tops that I have for this car, there's bubbling rust right there on the corner section, which is kind of a bummer. Again, all the badging, it looks great. The one thing about this car, that it is a 280 and not, 240, is because this is made in the 80s, it's definitely got more of an 80s vibe, and I don't know how well you can see that with the tires off in it being so compact in my garage, but it's definitely got a little bit more of a box feel and an 80s feel, whereas like I feel like the 240s had a lot cleaner lines and were just a lot prettier looking. Not that I don't love this car or love 280s, but definitely a little bit more 80s vibe. The wheels right there are the 6-spoke Z wheels, and I think they're actually really awesome. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them for the rally, but I think they do have a pretty awesome rally look. I'll probably end up switching up the tire size, at least in the back, because a lot of the rally is going to be sand, and I'm going to want, I think, a little bit wider of a footprint on it. Let me go ahead and pop the hood for you guys so I can show you that. Best part about the car is the hood. Nothing screams performance than a hood that opens up in that direction. Again, no turbocharger. I do have a cold air intake coming in to get rid of this massive airbox. Not that this airbox isn't absolutely fantastic and super vintage, but it's going to go. Initially, looking at the motor, not much looks wrong with it. When I did buy the car with the guy, we took it out for a test drive. And it felt funny. It didn't feel right. It would only rev to like 3,100 RPM, and I was like, yeah, something's not right here. And we were kind of brainstorming it, and he was like, you know what? I just replaced the fuel pump, and I bet you when the fuel pump went bad, it shot a bunch of gunk into the filter and clogged it up. So he had this filter laying around because he owned a shop, and it's actually a Ford filter, but it fits the bracket perfect, and it's basically identical. We threw it in there. Hooked the hoses back up, and it ran great. Revs up to upwards of $5,000 now, which is excellent, and it feels a lot healthier. However, the motor does have 218,000 miles on it, so it's definitely got some room for improvement, and I definitely feel like we're missing out on a lot of horses. So I will go through, and I think first things first is just doing a basic fluids flush on everything that I can get to. Because I don't know when the last time the fluids were changed or what the condition of any of those fluids are. So, basic motor maintenance, and then I can start digging into, the fuel system, air system, and just making sure that it's getting the right fuel and oxygen ratio and it's not starving itself and I'm not losing horses anywhere in there. Underneath the car, pretty good shape. Not a lot of rust. So I'll take you through underneath. The big concern of mine is that all of the bushings, I don't know if these have ever been changed, if the struts and the shocks have ever been changed. I can imagine they probably have, but these bushings and the ball joints up front look pretty rough. Not a speck of rust anywhere on the bottom side. I mean, a little bit here and there, but that's pretty That's not anything to be concerned about, at least not for me. It does look, you can't really see it on this side. Let me go over to the other side. It does look like I've got a little bit of fluid discharging from the differential back there. Yeah, you can see a better shot of it there. So something we can dig into and kind of figure out, what's going on there. But again, in pretty decent shape for a 36-year-old car. So, pretty clean. I don't know what's going on there, nor do I really care to find out. Might have some fluid leaking back here, it looks like. But, we'll find out. We will find out. Overall, really excited about the car. Really excited about the deal I got it for. And, what an awesome car to go ahead and start a build like this. By no means am I a mechanic or a fabricator or anything. So a lot of this, I'm going to enlist the help of some of my buddies. I work in the Army with a lot of mechanics, and I will certainly reach out to them to help me out with some of the more difficult stuff. But again, this is a hopefully majority in my garage build with friends and people who want to help out. So that's it. That's the Rally Ratsun. This is the start of our journey together, and hopefully come next March, this thing is at the starting line of the Sandblast Rally in Myrtle Beach. So feel free to reach out to me and let me know your thoughts and any suggestions or questions you guys have for me. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and let's build this Ratsun.